Hey everyone, I'm Alex from AG Insights, and I'm making this video because I think a lot of people can use an extra, couple $1,000s in their bank account. So I have seen a lot of different blogs online, and I've researched a lot of different things about how to make money from home. I've personally used some of these methods that I'm about to show you, so hopefully you guys can learn something new today and maybe start something of your own. So we'll begin by talking about the very first method, which is creating your own online store. So when you create your own online store, there's a few different platforms that you could use. Shopify is a very big one. Wix, I'm sure you've seen commercials for, and big commerce. So personally, I have used Shopify. It's a very easy platform to use. You don't need any coding, you don't really need that much experience, and it's very, I guess the reason I chose it is because you can use many different platforms and integrate it into Shopify. So for example, you can take, if you're selling on Amazon, you can take your Amazon products and incorporate it into your Shopify store. Let's talk about how to get started. So when you want to create your own store, the first thing you want to do is kind of pick a niche. So what a niche is many things. So you can pick to create a store around babies or pets or I don't know, rock climbing or makeup. So it's kind of something that I would advise to pick general at first. And then if you really are passionate about something, you can specialize it. So for example, like I would rather have a full makeup store versus selling just makeup brushes, because you see how there could be a limitation to how many things you can sell if you're only selling one specific item. But if you have a general store, then you have much more flexibility in case something doesn't sell. Okay, and then the next thing we want to talk about is making sure that there's a market for your niche. So this is very important. I don't think enough people do this. You have to ensure that whatever you're picking as your product is already making profit in the real world or can be very profitable. So sometimes you have that gut feeling about something, that's fine, but also do your research. You don't want to sell something that nobody's going to buy. So that could be done with a simple Google search or, just doing market research on your own. Step 3 is to create an appealing store. So I'm going to go back to the Shopify stores. So here's a few that I literally just picked up on Google. As you can see, they're very appealing. They look nice and neat and clean. And, if I went on this store, I would automatically think it's a professional site because they look very professional. So make sure that when you're importing your products, if you're creating images, and if you're making up your store, just make sure that it looks good. It makes the person or the customer feel like this is a good store to buy products from. You really want to make sure it looks like a trusted source, because it is a trusted source, but if it's not a big name brand, people might not know who you are. So making sure that you sell yourself well by presenting yourself well through a store is very important to the success of your business. All right, and then step 4 is going to be advertise to your audience. So there's many platforms you can do this on, but the most common I would say are Pinterest. So if you have nice images, Pinterest is perfect for that. Facebook, Instagram, and Google. Facebook is one of the most popular, and Facebook and Instagram are the same thing essentially. So if you advertise on Facebook, you can also advertise on Instagram. So that's very convenient. And I can later on tell you guys how to set up an account if that's something you're interested in. And then step 5, if you're doing very well, that's something that you can scale up. And if you know how to do advertisements really well and you're keeping track of your audience and creating email lists, it is something that is very easy to scale up. So fun little insight, if you are doing a Shopify store, you can do something called drop shipping. So essentially what that is like, say you find a product that you really like and a customer purchases this product off your store. So you actually don't have any inventory and you don't have the physical product with you. What you do is when they pay you for that product, so say the product costs $10 on your site, but realistically the product only costs $5. So what you do is you purchase that product from a separate store. And one example is AliExpress, which is a vendor. They actually have lots of vendors on that website, and you can purchase products from them and then they'll ship it to your customer. So it's kind of made to order essentially. So you don't need any of that inventory. You don't need any you don't have to make your own warehouse or make your own products. You just pick products from their site, send customers to whatever product that you're selling, and then you can purchase your product from their store. They'll ship it directly to your customer, and then, you get a happy customer after that. So I've done this. It's so easy. Like, you having your own inventory is just so much money, and your own warehouse is so much money. So having a drop shipping method is perfect because you don't have to buy things in bulk, which is where a lot of the expense comes from. So this is essentially free. You're not really spending anything. You're just making a profit off of whatever product you're selling. So I highly recommend that. I will say though, this is a difficulty level of like hard. And the reason I say that is, even though it's easy to set up and it's fun to create, because you could really be as creative as you want with this, it is very hard to advertise because you really have to narrow down your audience, and you have to do a lot of research beforehand to make sure it's going to be successful. And it could get kind of expensive. So personally for me, when I was starting off, I wasn't sure kind of who to advertise to. So just trial and error, it adds up. And then you also have to do your own customer service. So if a product doesn't reach the site, or something's wrong, or a person wants to return, all those things, so that's going to be on you. So you have to make sure that you have a really good business plan set up. And many stores fail. So even though they all look pretty and there's a lot of them that exist, unless you have like a solid business plan, it's not going to be that simple to make. Anyway. Moving on. So the second thing that you could do is sell products online. So another thing I've tried, and I've specifically tried this on Amazon, but there's other platforms you can do this, like Etsy and eBay. Amazon is just super easy because it's a very trusted brand, as are the other ones, but everybody buys on everything on Amazon, so it's a good place to start. So how to get started. So step one, research top selling Amazon products. So this is a simple Google search. It will actually take you to the Amazon page, and you can kind of see what are the top selling products. And essentially what you want to do is you want to pick something that is closely related to that product, if not that product. So like, say yoga mats are selling really well, you probably want to sell a yoga mat because the customer base is there. The only thing I will advise is try not to pick things that are too competitive, because then you won't ever make it to the top ranking rank, so you might not actually make any sales. So do a lot of market research, and there's a lot of good tools out there. So one tool that I personally use is called Unicorn Smasher. This is a free tool, and it's actually a Chrome extension that you can download, and it's on Google. And essentially what you do is when you pick a product, so I think I went under appliances and I went under cooking, and you can actually see a list of who is selling what and what their estimated sales are and what their estimated revenue is. So the reason this is important and very useful is because you can kind of see like, oh, there's certain products on here that I'd like to sell because they are actually doing well. It's kind of like a good way to spy on your competition. But then just be wary that this is not like 100%. These are estimates, but at the same time, kind of gives you a good idea of how much money you could make. So, like for example, number 6 is making a lot of money. So maybe that's something you might want to try. All right, so how to get started. Another thing is when you order your products, there's this site called Alibaba.com, and this is a wholesaler. And what this allows you to do is kind of pick, so say we're ordering yoga mats. So you can go on the site, type in yoga mats, and you'll find, hundreds of varieties, and you can kind of large quantity order them. So some of them have a limit, like you have to order 100. So this is kind of where the cost comes in. But then again, like if it only costs $1 to make a yoga mat, you can sell it for like 15 and make a profit. So this is like one of the best wholesale sites, and I've definitely used it before, and I highly recommend it. I didn't have a bad experience with this one. And then finally, advertise. So again, you can do this on Facebook or any of the other platforms I've showed you, but if you do it on Amazon, Amazon has their own advertising. So essentially, like when you look up a product, I don't know if you remember, but there are products that kind of show up like recommended. So that's spaces that you pay for. I've done this and it actually works really well. It'll tell you exactly how much money you spend on your advertisements versus how much you make. So it kind of help you gauge your spending that way. And honestly, you can do as low as like $1 a day, which is what I do. I would say this is difficulty level of medium. So this is, you don't have to do your own customer service. Amazon will do that for you. You don't have to hold your own inventory. Amazon will do that for you. So it's super convenient. Like, this is really a good opportunity to do something like this because these two things will really cost you a lot of money. However, there is a large upfront shipping and inventory cost and advertising costs. So advertising can kind of go down depending on how you do it, and if it's a popular product, it might just rank itself. But as far as large upfront costs, so like you can, if you submit an order to Alibaba, it costs like maybe upwards of $1,000 to $2,000 for that initial large order, which you then ship to Amazon. And then so that shipping cost will cost you, so it costs me a lot of money, especially shipping it from like China. So things you want to consider. And if the product doesn't sell, you will lose money in the long term. So if you're not doing well and you keep paying for advertisements, this is going to cost you because you also have to pay for inventory fees and things like that. So keep that in mind. So that's why I put it as a medium because it's not that hard. Honestly, it was pretty easy for me to set up all these accounts and get an order ready, but just something to keep in mind in terms of cost. I think this one's a little bit more cost heavy. And then finally is affiliate marketing. So just like the other two, step one, pick a niche. Step two, find your audience. And then step three is drive traffic. So if you don't know what affiliate marketing is, what it is that you take somebody else's product, you promote that product through whatever social media account you have. Could be friends or family, doesn't matter, and they'll give you a special affiliate link that that your audience clicks on, and after that, once they click on that link and you drive them to a specific customer page, you will get a commission off of whatever the profit was. So this is very simple compared to everything else I've showed you, but and it could be honestly as easy depending on how well you are at selling. So that's why I put this as a difficulty level of easy. There's so much more that I can talk about for affiliate marketing, and if you want more information, I'll at the very end of the video I'll let you know how you can get it. But the reason I put this as easy is that you don't have to have a website or a store. You don't have to have your own products. You can take advantage of your own social circle to sell. So you might not need to spend as much on advertising costs if you already know a lot of people who would want to buy a product from you. You don't have any loss if you don't sell, so this is something that's great, like very, very low risk. Like, it's not working, you just stop your ads and then you just quit. Versus if you have inventory, if you have like a store or employees to pay for, so it would cost you a lot more, and this is much simpler. And you also can sell multiple products or services. So you don't really have to limit yourself to a specific niche. Like, you can actually go to different niches depending on how well you sell yourself. But, the hard part is, of course, knowing how to sell and working on your own sales skills. But other than that, really not that much upfront cost. You could have your own website if you want, and maybe that would be the most expensive thing in advertisement, always depending on who you decide to sell. But compared to the other two methods, this is definitely the much easier method of making money online. So if you guys want more information, like this post for more info and I will send it to you. And especially if you really are interested, comment down below. Just say something like, I'm interested. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you a special link that contains more tools and videos. So I've kind of collected a whole bunch of things that, whether that's YouTube videos that I watched to help me sell or learn about affiliate marketing, Amazon, or Shopify. And I also have a whole bunch of links, free or paid, tools that you can use. So if you guys are interested, please let me know. And for a very special, time, I have an offer for you guys. So again, it's gonna be only limited to those who comments and are interested. So if you are, and this is something you are interested in and you're serious about making money online and you want more information, please let me know because I want you guys to succeed. I think a lot of people can benefit from this. I know I did. So yeah, please let me know, and I hope you guys do well, and I wish you the best of luck.